Beyond the Gate spoilers for Nov 17-21, Hon 2025. Anticipate Dany Dupree freaking out and Anita Dupree giving her blessing. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we go through what's happening the rest of this week, and then we dive into what is ahead next week. On Wednesday, November 12th, we've got Dany ready to leave and head to the West Coast for the Forrester Creations perfume shoot that she and her hubby, Andre Richardson, are supposed to be doing. Anita gives Dany a lucky memento of hers. I think it's a lucky penny that she said always helped her sing well when she had to perform. She's getting ready to say bye to her parents before her trip. Pam texts them good luck as Andre is packing for the LA trip. He is surprised when Vernon Dupree and Anita come home with Dany. They want to talk to him, and they have a lot of kind words for Andre. A very happy Anita and Vernon officially welcome Andre to the Dupree family. They thought Dany marrying Andre was a mistake, but now they think that he's brought back Dany's fire. Andre does admit he kind of spiraled a bit after his parents died, but he's settled now. He's happy and doing great with his marriage. Dany's parents leave, and she offers Andre the chance to back out of the Forrester Creations photo shoot. Looks like he doesn't want to. At the airport, Andre sends Dany a selfie, and it freaks her out for some reason, and she abruptly says the trip is off. Eva Thomas is telling Dana Leslie Thomas over breakfast that she flamed Catherine Cat Richardson because she was trashing her for calling Dr. Ted Richardson Dad. Eva is complaining that Cat looks down on her and asks Leslie to please stop throwing herself at Ted. But of course, she won't stop. And Leslie thinks she'll be back with Ted soon. Jan Morgan joins them and says, Ashley Morgan broke up with Derek Baldwin because he was hiding his recovery. Leslie talks about Derek's shady move, but Eva says her mom has no room to talk about anybody's shady moves. Eva asks Jan when they're alone, please don't encourage Leslie to chase Ted. But Jan foolishly thinks Leslie only wants to be friends with Ted. And Eva says, no. Kat complains to Ted that Eva is taking her place. Ted says, love's not a pie. There's enough to go around no matter how many people have some. Kat says Eva is not her equal, and Ted shouldn't treat them the same. He says Eva was cheated out of growing up with him as her dad. Kat keeps trashing Eva to him, but Ted thinks she's changed and that he's the one to blame for the family breaking up on Beyond the Gates. Kat trashes her again, talking about how she slept with Tomas Tom Navarro. In defense of Eva, Tomas did say they were broken up. I think he's more to blame than her, but still, sisters before misters, so I get it. Kat says that Eva's making Ted look like Boo Boo the Fool. Ted says he loves Kat, but Eva is not going anywhere and is his daughter. Kat says, well, not my sister, and I won't ever trust her. Ted sees Jan, Leslie, and Eva at the Fairmont Crest Club and thanks Leslie for donating to cover surgery for that needy patient. Jan's impressed, and Leslie takes the chance to hold Ted's hand. Ashley and Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne are packing up Derek's stuff and joking about throwing out his ugly recliner. Ashley talks about running to Andre, who's now falling in love with Dany. Naomi says Ashley can still go out and explore life without Andre, and Ashley jokes that she's crushing on Naomi's new stepdad. Ashley seems to be more upset about losing a chance at Andre than losing Derek since she broke up with him. Meanwhile, he's at the hospital getting out of the wheelchair and up on a walker, and Shanice Johnson is very impressed. Derek tells her that Ashley found him standing and dumped him for lying and hiding his recovery. Shanice is kind of like, told you so. Derek sees Ashley at the hospital. She's glad he's progressing, but doesn't want to talk to him or hang out. Shanice follows Ashley and confesses that yes, she knew Derek was getting better, but HIPAA and all that, she couldn't tell her. After that, Derek heads over to Ashley's place to get his boxes from Naomi so that Ashley doesn't come home to them. On Thursday, November 13th, we've got Vernon worried his secret will be outed. He is again meeting on the sly with Sharon. I think this time they're either at Orphans or Uptown. It all looks very dodgy, but I think this is about the song that Vernon is writing for the holidays to surprise Anita. I don't think he's banging Sharon behind her back. I mean, that'd be soapy, but I don't think it's happening. Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson says yes to something that Ted asks about, but thinks there's going to be fallout from it. This could be about the Winterfest Gala. And I wonder if Ted's going to tell Nicole how unglued Kat is coming over Eva and the dad thing. Derek is already rebounding before Ashley, which is ironic. There's a coworker that's checking Derek out, maybe a lady firefighter or an EMT. Plus, things are really awkward when Kat and Bradley Smitty Smith talk. He doesn't like what Martin Richardson did, and he already told him that he needs to let Samantha go back to work for Chelsea Hamilton. But the dads definitely don't want Samantha to have a key to the studio, so she's not over there boinking Nathan on the sly. Andre and Dany make a big decision. They are headed off for their honeymoon trip, but I wonder if they will skip the photo shoot or do both that and the honeymoon in Los Angeles. On Friday, November 14th, we've got Vanessa McBride telling Joey he's addicted, and he casually says that he loves her, and Vanessa's jaw drops. Also, she's reminded of her dead hubby Doug. In that vein, Vanessa helps out a friend. I don't know if somebody's gambling and Vanessa wants them to stop. Joey busts Randy in a lie and wants to know why he fibbed. And it may be about the Hayley Lawson fling thing, because remember, she told Joey a whole other story. Anita has to calm Leslie down. She may be upset about the Winterfest Barbara tie-in. We'll see. Naomi and Jacob Hawthorne have dinner with Bill Hamilton and Hayley and find out something startling. I wonder if it's about the new summer home or about Isaiah coming to see him about the contract. We'll see. The week of November 17th through the 21st, we're going to catch up with Dany and Andre on their honeymoon. I do wonder if we're going to get crossover episodes of them shooting the Forrester Creation perfume ads, either on Beyond the Gates or on Bold and the Beautiful, or if they're really smart, maybe on both to tie people from one to the other. Kat continues angrily simmering about Eva's growing closeness to Ted, but she's putting other relationships at risk by refusing to acknowledge that she has a sister. Like it or not, she doesn't have to be friends with her. But you know, in Ted's mind, Kat's not better than Eva. But she's never going to change that princess's perspective. Tomas doesn't like it. Chelsea doesn't like it, but she wasn't going to say too much about it. Nicole may have an interesting perspective if Kat opens up to her mom about this. Eva warms up to Isaiah Hawthorne, and I'm hoping Tomas sticks with Kat and doesn't come sniffing around Eva Gain. Nobody needs that. Leading into the Thanksgiving holidays, I wonder if Ted's going to spend it with Eva and Leslie. And maybe Peaches, since Nicole and the Dupree are not going to want him or them at the table. There's more of Derek sparking with his coworker and questions of where this leaves Ashley. I mean, not a lot of single people. There's Randy. There's a new guy coming soon, played by hunky Greg Vaughn. We'll see. The Dupree's big charity Winterfest gala is coming soon, and we've got more planning to see on that. I'm very interested to see if Leslie is going to be butting in. Ted tries talking sense into Kat, but she's about as interested in discussing Eva as I am in fat-free cheesecake. Ted explains his stance, but all Kat sees is him trying to treat Eva as her equal. Kat insists Eva isn't a good person, let alone worthy, especially given the destruction she and Leslie wrought. Ted says he, not Eva, blew the family up. Ted promises that while Eva is not going anywhere, neither is Kat. He loves them both, but she makes clear she will never trust Eva, nor will she accept her as a sister. At the same time, Eva is trying desperately to keep Mom Leslie's expectations in check where Ted is concerned. They're joined for a country club lunch by Jan. During a moment alone, Eva asks her mom's friend to stop encouraging her to pursue Ted. "Help her make good choices," urges Eva, when Jan wants to give Leslie the benefit of the doubt where Ted is concerned. As they prepare to leave for their Forrester Creations photo shoot in Los Angeles, Dany and Andre are surprised to receive the blessings of Anita and Vernon. The patriarch admits he and his wife had reservations, but they are now fully supportive. Why? Because Andre has brought their firebrand of a daughter back to life and pulled Dany out of her Bill-inspired spiral. Nita declares, "We have all decided we like each other," before sending the couple on their way. Alone, Dany gives Andre one more chance to back out of the shoot, worrying when he again uses the word risk. But he's all in, saying he has to swing by his apartment to pick up a few things and will meet her at the airport. But when she arrives at the airport, Dany says the trip is off. Why? "If you really think about it," she tells her hubby, "you'll know why." "Well, someone clue me in? 'Cause I certainly don't." Naomi helps Ashley pack up Derek's belongings, while he's at the hospital impressing Shanice with his ability to stand. Ashley admits to her gal pal that she wasn't completely honest with Derek regarding her feelings for Andre, while Derek tells Shanice about the wedding being off. Despite everything, he wants her to push him harder than ever so he can fully recover. Derek later swings by the apartment he formerly shared with Ashley, whom he just ran into at the hospital. Naomi is there, encouraging him to get his crap out of there. He hands Naomi the key to the apartment, asking her to return it to Ashley. Meanwhile, Shanice admits to Ashley that she knew what was going on with Derek, but adds she couldn't say anything because of HIPAA laws. Beyond the gates, viewers were stunned when Hayley revealed her plot to murder Bill and become Fairmont Crest's merriest widow. We'd thought that she was a vixen, sure, possibly a gold digger, but a killer? Nope, that wasn't even on our bingo card. Turns out, portrayer Marquita Goings was in the dark about her character's master plan too, but then the rug got pulled right out from under her. Here, she tells Soaps.com how she found out about Hayley's homicidal tendencies, the inconvenient feelings that could trip her up, and the troublemaker that she sees as a potential get-out-of-jail-free card, Marquita Goings. Honestly, at the beginning of the show, I had no clue. Not until my character and Dany had a scene, and I made a choice to kind of snap at her. And the producers were like, no, don't do that. Continue to play her the way you have been. And I was like, why? I feel like she would do this. They said, Hayley is going to have to shift. Now, I didn't know to what degree that was going to be, but that was the first inkling that something was up. Then, closer to shooting, the reveal, I had a more in-depth conversation with our producer, Julie, Hanan Carruthers. She was like, come to my office, let's talk. And she kind of laid things out. Goings, just as Marquita speaking, because they've been married now for a year and spending time with someone, no matter what the intention was initially, I feel like there's some type of feeling. I don't know how deep the feeling is, but I do feel like Hayley would care for Bill, or, she probably would have done this sooner. Goings. Yeah, if Dany wasn't involved, Hayley is living a great life. Bill is willing to do anything and go any lengths for her. She would be happy if Dany wasn't always involved. Soaps.com. Hayley recently turned down Leslie's offer to team up, but then she ran right to Bill and said, damn, that Leslie sure is out to get you. Do you think Hayley's looking to frame Leslie for Bill's murder? Soaps.com. And Hayley's not scared of Leslie like most people are, right? Goings. No, I don't think she's scared of her at all. She's more so just keeping an eye on her because she knows that Leslie is a troublemaker and she doesn't want to get caught up in that, knowing she has plans of her own. Leslie is, I feel like, fishing and trying to see what's going on, see how she can be involved, so she's not the only bad girl. Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates. On Thursday, November 13th, 2025, just when you thought things were pretty sorted, in Thursday's episode, Dany and Andre make a decision about their future. A photo shoot with Forrester Creations is on the cards, but will it go through? Or will Dany and Andre have another adventure up their sleeves? Honeymoons could be fun. In Thursday's episode, Vernon worries his secret may be found out. Vernon has been having multiple secret rendezvous with Sharon from the Articulates, and Anita has no idea. Now we don't really believe that Senator Dupree is stepping out on his wife. Still, it looks dodgy, and it won't stay hidden forever, especially if they keep meeting in public spaces like Uptown, where half of Fairmont Crest go, including members of his and his extended family. What is Vernon really up to, and has it got anything to do with Winterfest, the annual Dupree event? In Thursday's episode, Nicole grants a request from her ex, but warns that his actions will have repercussions. Would this mean Nicole intervening in the ongoing war between Kat and Eva? Nicole mysteriously stayed quiet when Kat lost her mind at her father at the nurse's station the other day. This kind of situation needs both parents to be on the same page and not playing games against each other. In Thursday's episode, Kat and Smitty have an awkward run-in. Flames ignite between Derek and a coworker. Kat seems to be going at everyone, trying to find someone who will agree with her that she deserves some sympathy. But with the poor me fountain running dry, will she get any better reaction from Smitty? Derek is going to have quite the situation with a coworker, and it could be just the thing to take his mind off Ashley and what might have been, which will probably never happen again. Derek can't stand the fact that Ashley just threw their relationship away, but walking a different path now may lead to the happiness he seeks, or at least a reprieve, unless the flames are just an argument with a coworker. On the Thursday, November 13th episode of Beyond the Gates, Dany and Andre make a decision about their future. Meanwhile, Vernon's afraid his secret may be discovered. Also, flames ignite between Derek and a coworker. This latest Andre teaser is a bit of a concerning development. Just when you think the two have committed to the marriage, they do something unexpected. They remain the most unpredictable couple on BTG, but they are also, strangely, one of the most solid couples right now. However, there's a chance that might be changing. Apparently, Dany and Andre are set to make a decision about their future. Hopefully, this is about something harmless and not anything world-ending. Because they have photo shoots to work together and honeymoons to experience, Vernon is up to something. So far, he has kept his meetings with Articulate Sharon hidden, but something must happen because he suddenly feels his secret may be found out. We still don't know what these private meetings are all about, but we watched the BTG weekly video preview. Vernon meeting Sharon at Uptown, even in a booth in the back, isn't smart if the retired senator wants to keep things on the down low. The weekly teasers reveal Nicole granting a request from her ex, but warns that his actions will have consequences. What request does Ted make? And is it related to his recent difficulty with Kat and his closeness with Eva? Something tells us Ted is about to make things worse before they get better. Meanwhile, look for Kat to have an awkward run-in with Smitty, her brother-in-law. They haven't discussed Samantha overhearing her racy gush about Tomas yet, or Martin going off on her. How awkward does it get between these two, and will they be able to talk it out? Derek has been dealing with his relationship imploding and the fact that he is no longer marrying the person he considers the love of his life. He has turned to Shanice for support, but he's about to experience a different distraction. When flames ignite between Derek and a coworker, this could literally be about an actual fire. Or this could be about sparks of the romantic kind. Could Derek get a sign that it's time to move on? Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, November 12th, note that Dany Dupree will gear up for her Forrester Creations shoot, while Derek Baldwin turns to Shanice Johnson in the aftermath of his breakup. This is interesting since Derek and Shanice dated the last time Derek was on a break from Ashley Morgan. Although, unlike the last time, it feels like this time, Fairmont Crest's most boring couple is done for good. Still, will this spark a romance between Shanice and Derek? Probably not, since Shanice may remind the firefighter that she warned trouble would be brewing if he continued to lie to his fiancée, which he did. Plus, Shanice will know that she's a rebound, so here's hoping things don't get awkward. Across town, Ted Richardson will attempt to smooth things over in the growing rivalry between his two daughters, Catherine "Kat" Richardson and Eva Thomas. In fact, he'll try to reason with Kat about the situation, but from the sounds of it, she won't budge. During the November 12th episode, things got ugly between Kat and Eva, so this feud is not slowing down one bit. While Ted tries to help the situation, Leslie Thomas will aggravate things by applauding Eva's recent moves on the Wednesday, November 13th episode. Leslie can't stand Kat and her entitled ways, so she may encourage Eva to keep pushing back where her bratty sister is concerned. As mentioned earlier, Beyond the Gates spoilers reveal that Dany will prep for her Forrester Creations shoot. She wanted to work with the bold and the beautiful's Ridge Forrester and his company for a hot minute, and the time has finally come for this dream to come true. How will she prepare herself for this momentous event? Plus, will Ridge reappear on the show or anyone else from the B&B? Only time will tell. Elsewhere, Dany's poor hubby, Andre Richardson, will sit down for a chat with his wife's parents, Anita Dupree and Vernon Dupree, yet again. Beyond the Gates spoilers imply that whatever the three talk about will spark a decision that concerns Dany and Andre's future, and the super couple will need to have a chat later on this week on what to do next. So it'll be fascinating to see what Anita and Vernon have to tell Andre now. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, November 12th reveal some interesting moments in Fairmont, Crest. Dany Dupree preps for her Forrester Creations shoot, while Ted Richardson and Leslie Thomas co-parent their respective daughters. Plus, Derek Baldwin leans on Shanice Johnson. Find out more about what is set to unfold during Wednesday's show below. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, November 12th. Note that off the cusp of his breakup with Ashley Morgan, Derek will lean on Shanice. With that said, Shanice was the lady he turned to the last time he broke up with Ashley, and the two flirted with the idea of dating. Will lightning strike twice? Speaking of rebounds, Ted and Leslie will struggle to deal with the aftermath of Catherine "Cat" Richardson and Eva Thomas's feud. Things got pretty ugly during the Tuesday, November 11th episode, and both parents will confront their daughters. Still, it sounds like while Ted will sit Cat down and try to get through to her about a reconciliation, Leslie will applaud Eva for her actions. Across town, Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday. Note that Dany will be busy getting ready for her Forrester Creations shoot. She's waited such a long time to work with the company, and Dany is beyond excited that Andre Richardson agreed to do the ad campaign, despite his hesitancy. The gig will not only be a dream job come true for her, but it'll also help launch Dany's comeback into modeling, so she'll be super excited about the entire thing. Read this. Beyond the Gates spoilers, November sweeps. Ted moves on, wedding bells, Greg Vaughn debuts. Meanwhile, poor Andre will have yet another sit-down talk with Dany's parents, Anita Dupree and Vernon Dupree. What will they want to talk to Andre about now? Fans will have to tune in to find out. What storyline are you most looking forward to during Wednesday's show? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to check back with Celebrating the Soaps for all the latest Beyond the Gates spoilers, news, rumors, comings and goings, and updates. On the Wednesday, November 12th episode of Beyond the Gates, the Forrester Creations photo shoot is just around the corner, so Dany preps for the very important gig. Meanwhile, Derek leans on Shanice as Naomi helps Ashley move on. Things are going swimmingly for Dany and Andre. The marriage that everybody insists is doomed has actually solidified. Andre shared his thoughts about his painful past, and as a result, he decided to go ahead with the photo shoot. And the two are taking the opportunity to turn this upcoming work trip into a honeymoon. On Wednesday, Andre has to face Dany's parents, who have expressed their concerns about this conscious coupling. Look for Anita and Vernon to have a long overdue conversation with Andre. What does that mean? Meanwhile, Andre's wife Dany has her own agenda. She starts prepping for the Forrester Creations shoot. What does that involve? One never knows in Dany's universe. It's the aftermath of the Eva and Cat showdown, and Ted feels the need to do some damage control with one of his daughters. The plastic surgeon tries to get through to Cat, who probably has no time for him. Ted has been working diligently on building a relationship with Eva, while he hasn't really worked with Cat on repairing the damage his secrets and lies created. As Ted tries to connect with Cat, Leslie gloats over hers. She must be happy with the way this supposed war between Eva and Cat ended. Of course, Leslie will relish in Eva's win, especially if it means Kitty Cat Richardson is down and out. Derek and Ashley's engagement and relationship have imploded. They are done, potentially for good this time. They each turn to someone for support during this painful time. Derek, once again, leans on Shanice. The supervising nurse and Derek's physical therapist will undoubtedly provide him with care and possibly even some tough love. But she won't let things go the flirty route again, that's for sure. Meanwhile, Naomi helps her bestie move on. Ashley needs to figure out not only how to move on from Derek, but also from Andre. Can she do that? Here's what went down Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, on Beyond the Gates when Isaiah was linked to yet another DC resident. Kat got her pout on, and Smitty had to once again convince Martin not to be a dick. On Beyond the Gates, Bill got a new client, Isaiah. The men knew each other. Isaiah explained that he had just moved back to town and mistakenly referred to the younger Hayley as Bill's niece. Hayley admitted the age disparity and wanted to stick around to offer her paralegal services as Bill and Isaiah met, but the two wished to speak in private. While Bill assumed Isaiah was in trouble with the law again, Isaiah corrected that he had fixed up his life and that he had a job lined up at Banneker University as an academic advisor. Isaiah hoped Bill could look over his offer, but employment contracts weren't in Bill's purview, so he referred Isaiah to Tomas. Alone with Hayley, Caroline could tell that her friend had been intrigued by Isaiah. Hayley denied it, but Caroline noted that Hayley and Isaiah were much closer in age. After Hayley swore to Caroline that she and Bill would be together for the rest of their lives, she brought Bill lunch and peppered him with questions about Isaiah, finding out he was a reformed bad boy. When Bill had to step out, Hayley brought out her poison and squeezed a few drops into Bill's takeout soup. Kat fumed to Chelsea that Bill was no longer the sorriest excuse for a father. Ted was. As Kat raked over her coals about Eva having slept with Tomas, the man entered from the other room, having come to retrieve paperwork he had forgotten there. After Kat explained that Ted had committed the unforgivable sin of asking Eva to call him Dad, Tomas thought the gesture was only natural, considering. Kat retorted that she was Ted's only real daughter, and that Eva was just a byproduct of Ted's worst mistake, just as Eva walked through the Mois Seigneur. Eva called Kat a spoiled little bitch. Tomas tried to referee, but Chelsea sensed that Eva and Kat might need to clear the air. Eva bemoaned that Kat had destroyed any desire Eva had had to get along with her half-sister. But now that Kat was interfering in her relationship with Ted, Eva wouldn't allow it. Kat spat that Eva was constantly trying to steal her life, and that Eva would always be nothing but Ted's dirty little secret. When Eva got in Kat's face and swore she'd go to war if that's what Kat wanted, Kat smirked that Eva was just like Leslie. "Damn right I am," Eva confirmed before storming out. Tomas later told Kat that she had provoked Eva, and that he didn't like the cruel streak that came out in Kat anytime Eva was around. Kat didn't understand why Tomas was against her trying to protect her loved ones from Eva hurting them again, while Tomas felt that Kat didn't care about his feelings, despite his repeated pleas for her to back off of Eva. After Tomas left, Kat pouted to Chelsea that no one had sympathy for her, but Chelsea shrugged that there was really nothing Kat could do about Ted wanting Eva to refer to him as her father. Kat exclaimed that Ted couldn't love Eva more than he loved her, not with Ted knowing Kat all her life. Chelsea was dismayed when Kat relayed how she had told Ted that he only had one daughter now. Kat determined that a hard stance would get Ted to see that Eva was manipulating him. If Ted didn't come around, Kat said, she would have to do whatever it took. Chelsea remarked that Kat sounded an awful lot like Leslie. Kat considered taking a page out of Leslie's book, since Leslie always seemed to get what she wanted. Isaiah called Tomas for an appointment and asked the lawyer to meet him at Uptown, where Isaiah saw the infuriated Eva ordering a strong drink. Eva rebelled when Isaiah tried to talk her out of downing it, saying she couldn't help thinking of him as cop-adjacent, since learning Jacob was his brother. Isaiah offered Eva an ear, and she went over how she had tried to make peace with Kat, to no avail. Eva spoke of the imaginary sister she'd created as a child to comfort her when Leslie got crazy, but it had been in working for the Richardsons that she'd first seen what a happy, sane family was like. Isaiah sensed that part of the reason Eva wanted to reunite that family was so she could be a part of it. Eva wondered if Isaiah had come back to DC so he could be close to his own family. Isaiah sighed that Elon had been more of a disciplinarian than a dad, though Jacob had done his best to keep everyone together and had stayed in touch while Isaiah was out west. When Tomas arrived, Eva assumed that he had followed her to console her, but Tomas stated that he was there to meet a client. Eva's curiosity was piqued when Isaiah announced that he was that client. Tomas was willing to examine Isaiah's contract from Banneker, but he didn't foresee any conflicts. Isaiah wanted information about a different conflict, since he knew Tomas and Eva shared a history. Tomas reassured Isaiah that there were no problems. In fact, he was dating Eva's sister. Isaiah's eyebrow raised. At Orphe Jean's, Samantha felt it was weird that Tyrell was taking care of her, since it was usually the other way around. Samantha was horrified that she had told their fathers that she wished they'd never adopted her, which she hadn't meant. Tyrell reminded his sister how lucky they were to have been found by Smitty and Martin. June arrived and reported that Smitty had said the teens were looking for her. Samantha groused that her dads would probably fit her with an ankle monitor next. June wanted to talk to Samantha alone and sent Tyrell away to text the Richardson Smiths that Samantha was safe. Samantha hoped that June could get her fathers to see her side, but June wasn't on hers. June said that the only bad guy in the situation was Nathan, who seemed to bring the worst out in Samantha. June didn't think that Samantha being grounded was unfair. Samantha proposed that she live with June, but June was clear that, while she was doing better, she was still in no position to raise a child. Besides, June added, Samantha couldn't use her to escape her problems. June was willing to be the woman Samantha could talk to since she was surrounded by guys at home. Samantha didn't know how she was going to be able to face Martin and Smitty. June recalled how her fun-loving father hadn't been around much, likely because her strict mother had driven him away. When her dad had died, June blamed her mom and had cried that she'd wished it was she who had died instead. Samantha listened to June's regret about never getting the chance to apologize to her mother before she passed away, and to the fact that Samantha still had a chance to make things right. June desperately didn't want Samantha to carry the burden that she had. Martin didn't understand Smitty's upset, since the logical response to Samantha's behavior was to pull her out of Chelsea Cat. Smitty complained that Martin was falling back on his old ways of making unilateral decisions about the family without consulting him, which had been what had torn them apart over the summer. Martin held that, at times, immediate responses were necessary, but Smitty objected to Martin's righteous indignation again taking over. The failure to communicate threatened to put them right back where they had been. Smitty firmly said that Martin's approach to problems resulted in pushing people away, and that his tactics were less about their family as it was about him. Martin remained offended. Smitty had come to understand, since their dealings with Kenneth, that the idea of letting go of even a tiny amount of control made Martin feel like disaster was inevitable. When Martin affirmed that he'd take any risk to protect his family, Smitty said Martin was equating the Kenneth situation with Samantha pushing boundaries with a boy, which wasn't nearly as much of an emergency. Martin finally let his wall down a bit when Smitty gently warned him that he would alienate everyone if he kept coming at challenges the same way. Smitty said that they needed to brainstorm solutions together and concurred that Samantha couldn't simply be let off the hook. Martin submitted that they could have Samantha and Tyrell delete their social media accounts, but Smitty didn't feel that would solve anything. The reporter wanted Martin to show Samantha more understanding and suggested that she be allowed to continue working at Chelsea Cat, which had taught her skills and confidence. Samantha came home and apologized profusely for saying things in anger just to be hurtful. Martin had to admit that he wasn't proud of the way he had handled himself either. Samantha was thrilled to find out that she could return to Chelsea Cat. However, when her dads got on to the subject of dating, Samantha assumed she wouldn't be allowed to until she was 35. Martin made it no secret that he'd prefer Samantha stay away from Nathan. Smitty recommended that, going forward, he and Martin have better relationships with those the teens were seeing, and told Tyrell that they wanted to invite Jessica and her parents to dinner. Mr. Smith acknowledged that Samantha and Tyrell dating was new territory for all of them, but vowed that, as a family, they would figure out how to navigate it. In Beyond the Gates, Naomi ended up in a situation where there was a scare of pregnancy. Her husband, Jacob, is the one who wants a family, but Naomi is not interested. This has caused tension in their marriage. Elsewhere in real life, Ariel Prepettit posted a video showing off a new hairstyle. Keep scrolling to learn more. Currently, Naomi and Jacob's storylines have centered around their disagreement over starting a family. Jacob wants to have children immediately. Naomi isn't sure she's ready for kids, and this has caused tension in their marriage. They often misunderstand each other, and it has become a recurring issue. Naomi's refusal to even entertain the idea of a pregnancy has been the source of a heavy emotional rift between them. Jacob is so upset that his anger almost bursts out when he tries to talk about the future, but Naomi still insists on waiting. The plot delves into how their dispute affects their daily life, and that family decisions can influence habits, talks, and even the emotional state. Not a single meeting is free from doubt. as both characters have to find their way through the intricate issue of balancing their individual rights with being a couple. Moreover, the program narrates the confusion of Jacob, which misleads Naomi's reluctance to tell him the truth. Beyond the Gates dives deeply into their fight, showing the intricacies of the emotional ties in such situations where choosing whether to have kids becomes a major issue. Ariel shared her new hairstyle and gave a shout-out to Christy Miller. Not just this, she recommended Elevate Salon and Spa if anyone wanted to go for a silk press. Many of her castmates also commented on the video. Amber Michelle, who plays Eve, called the hairstyle the cutest. Carla Mosley, who plays Dany, commented, "Yas!" Elsewhere, Daphne Duplay, who plays Naomi's on-screen sister, commented, "Adorbs!" Many of her other co-stars also showered love. Trisha L. Man Grant, who plays Leslie, wrote, "Too cute," while Maurice P. Carey, who plays Randy, commented with an emoji. That post was a clear representation of the funny and emotionally supportive relationships that the cast had in common. Besides, it points out that Prepedit not only shared a strong bond with her fellow actors, but also feels deeply connected to the community of people who watch the show. For more Beyond the Gates spoilers and updates, keep following Soap Opera Daily.